What's going on, beautiful people? I am the Grandmaster, and I also go by D-Ray, bringing you guys the next episode in the Grandmaster's Table, and I am joined today by the one and only Miticus. Miticus of the APA. Go ahead and say hi, my man.
Yo, what's up, guys? Hope you're all doing well. Nice to be here. Excited.
So this is going to be a pretty solid episode, guys. I've been looking forward to this the entire week. If you guys are excited for this episode of the Grandmaster's Table, please do me a massive favor. And if you're new, hit the subscribe button, turn on post notifications, hit the bell button so you guys don't miss out on any one of these podcasts or any of the videos that go up on this channel. Guys, let's jump right into it. I've been looking forward to this, like I said, for a really long time. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Hey, Miticus. So the first question that I have for you, my man, is one, how long have you been on the platform? How long have you been a part of YouTube?
Well, let me think about that for a second. I believe it was late 2016 and I really started to record for the APA Showdown League. And it was kind of pretty inconsistent. It was just more of a here and there kind of thing when I battled Panther 2 or some other good friends in the league. But it wasn't really until we started the APA Wi-Fi that I started uploading consistently during that. So really, to answer your question, probably late 2016 is when I uploaded my first video.
Nice. The APA, for those who don't know what the APA is, can you explain to us what that entails?
Yeah, man. So APA is the American Pokemon Association. It was started in 2016 by myself and my best friend in real life. We actually went to high school together, college together, started our careers together, and that would be Panther 2. So me and him sat on the couch one day, created this idea, brought it to life, and now we have the American Pokemon Association, which is a draft league organization for the Pokemon community.
For those who don't know, I'm actually in the APA Academy, and this organization, like he's talking about, is massive on YouTube. So if you were to think like the top-notch draft leagues to be a part of and the top-notch draft leagues to watch and just be entertained by as a whole, the APA sits there on the plummet, on the summit. If you were to think of top 5, top 3, the APA for sure sits in there. These guys have created something incredibly solid. There's a couple different avenues that the APA goes through, right? There's Showdown and then there's Wi-Fi.
Yeah, so I mean, over the years, we've really kind of cultivated an organization that we feel a multitude of people can join into, regardless of your skill set, regardless of your experience, and regardless if you want to take it incredibly serious or if you really just want to have something to do in your downtime. So we have our standard Showdown league, but then we have where that splits off into some different categories, and then we have the APA Wi-Fi, and that kind of also splits into some categories. As you mentioned earlier, we have the APA Academy, which is like the APA Wi-Fi's D League, if anybody is familiar with that, and we also have like an APA Little Cup League as well on Wi-Fi. And Little Cup is when you have your first base form Pokemon that are allowed to participate.
So we're gonna treat this kind of like a relationship kind of thing of getting both sides of the same story, both sides of the same coin. But we've had Panther before on the Grandmaster's Table, and he kind of gave us a little bit of a gist of what your guys' history is. How did you guys meet, you and Panther?
Yeah, man. So funny story. Not really funny, but just, interesting, I think. We were like 16 or 17. He's about 8 months older than me. So it's 11th grade, high school, random in North Carolina. And he's fresh from Georgia, which is about probably 6 hours where he was coming into in North Carolina. Walks into Spanish class. And, honestly, we happened to actually have like the exact schedule, which is pretty neat. And so I was always kind of the person who, I would always try to spark up a conversation with somebody, and he was the new kid. So He looked nice enough, I guess. And so he actually ended up sitting beside of me, and pretty much every single one of those classes just by happenstance. And yeah, man, we just one day started like talking about games. And funny story, this is actually kind of funny. It took us probably a year and a half to actually tell each other that we played Pokemon. We probably went a year and a half of our friendship, like being like really good friends, or becoming really good friends. And just one day we kind of like, I think it was Heart Gold, Soul Silver was about to release. It was 2009. Actually, I can tell you this is about 2 years into the friendship. And we kind of just, something happened and we started like chatting about it and kind of being like conservative about it, because at 18, 19 years old, you kind of, you don't want to just throw all your secrets out there. But yeah, man, we just kind of like started chatting a little bit about it, and we both found out like we had this huge passion for Pokemon. And we actually went out and got a DS and got Heart Gold and Soul Silver, and we just did a run through of it like in a week. It was a blast, man. So yeah, it cultivated in 11th grade, and then, man, I mean, like I said before, we graduated high school together. We went to college together. We started our careers in the banking field together. That's where we are today. He's a branch manager for one of the biggest banks in the Southeast. And I actually just left that same company. I'm actually starting a new job on Monday. And I'll be a branch coordinator for a local credit union. So man, we've had a really unique friendship, but I mean, we're like best of buds. And I don't know. He's the best friend a guy could ask for.
Yeah, you kind of told us the same concept, where you guys basically, as soon as you guys met, your guys' journey has paralleled each other since the get-go. But that's a funny thing that you guys kind of held that behind, that you guys didn't really talk about Pokemon until later on. That's actually super funny. You didn't tell us that, which is great. That's so funny.
Yeah, man. It was interesting, and I was like so happy that I had somebody that I'd be like, oh yeah, dude, let's go play some Pokemon. I mean, at 18 or 19 years old, you're just, again, you kind of keep that behind the curtain.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Whenever, for those who are Pokemon YouTubers, or just for those who like to enjoy the franchise as a whole, it's kind of Wolf actually said it best. It's actually one of the best games out there to play. There's always the popular ones like Fortnite and Overwatch and Minecraft and things of that nature that have this big following, where you can come to an event and then there's just massive crowds. Where Pokemon has the same exact thing, but there's also that stereotypical idea of just a TV show, and usually people with this watching it on Saturday mornings and kind of leaving it as you become an adult. But truth be told, that the adult side of it is the more complex side of it. So some don't actually stick around with the franchise and don't actually get to see it in that light. So to find other people around you or in your community that play Pokemon with the same passion that you do, it's a scarce community. So to find someone that you like, just like how you did with Panther, that's probably the best you could ask for.
Oh man, yeah, it was a good feeling for sure. At 8 years old, you're a little insecure. You got your insecurities that you don't want to be outcast in any ways. So, especially me, I was just like very hesitant, but it was a good feeling, to have a friend that you just found something that you were so passionate about, have the same common passion for the game. So, super cool, super cool. I was very happy.
Exactly. The best quality in the best friend is to be able to do things that you like to do together, for sure. So I'm going to ask you the same question that I like to ask every guest that comes on the Grandmaster's table. Probably the most difficult question to really answer, without it being a simple answer. The more complex you get with this, the better that is for the audience. But if I were to ask you what your favorite Pokemon of all time is, and that doesn't have to be competitively, that doesn't have to be aesthetically, it's just what Pokemon, if you were to choose one, would be on top of your list every single time.
You're kind of breaking up through that, so let me just kind of repeat it to make sure I understand what you're asking. You're just asking, competitive wise, what is my favorite Pokemon to use?
This is this is your favorite Pokemon overall. This could be competitive. Overall. This could be, overall. It could be aesthetically. It could be what means to you the most. What's your number one Pokemon that goes in your pocket every time?
So it's interesting you asked this. Me, Panther, Elite Four Dan, and if y'all don't know this, Elite Four Dan, he does pretty much all the graphics for the APA, and he's one of the commissioners as well with me and Panther. We actually did a quiz between the three of us, and one of the questions on the quiz was, "What is your favorite Pokemon?"
Mm-hmm.
And both Panther and Dan could not guess my favorite Pokemon.
Wow.
Yeah, so they both thought that it'd be Mega Beedrill, or just Beedrill in general.
Mm-hmm.
Because, of course, my mascot for the league is the Boston Beedrills. My favorite Pokemon of all time, at least right now, just because I do kind of fluctuate between certain ones, but the one that has my heart right now is actually Salazzle. Love the design. I think it's a beast in certain matchups, or in a lot of matchups. I think it has a really good offensive typing. So yeah, I know it's kind of a wild pick there, but I love the way it looks. I love the stab moves it has, the setup of a nasty plot that it can do. It can poison anything if it wants to. Yeah, man, I just think it's super cool typing.
An amazing shiny too. So it's got the black with the purple at the beginning, and then the shiny turning completely white, with it being the feminine because only females can evolve. That it just fits it with it overall. That's actually pretty cool. You're the first to be naming Salazzle. So Salazzle's an awesome Pokemon. Is it more of you liking Salazzle? Would you say that you like it more because of the aesthetics, or more because of the competitive value that it brings?
I mean, honestly, man, it's kind of equally on both sides. I love the way it looks, but I also love what it brings to the table. When, for instance, you want to take down those bulky steels, or you want to take down those bulky fairies, it's got a great tier to it. Again, it can set up and use that speed to a huge advantage. Especially in Gen 8, where you don't have the hidden power ground anymore. The thing is just super, super viable.
100%. That's a great segue into my next question. So I wanted to get your thoughts on what we're looking at for the Pokemon competitive scene in Generation 8. What are your first thoughts going into it before the DLC? So it's much different than Generation 7. So Generation 8 being a little bit more of a limited dex. For the competitive scene, what are your first opinions? What are your first thoughts about Generation 8 so far, being in the first year?
So what you're asking is just for the expansion, or just as a whole, Gen 8?
As a whole, as of now, before the expansion comes.
The expansion. Okay. Well, going into Gen 8, I think we were all kind of hoping that Megas would return. I think Megas were something that really brought a new dimension to Pokemon, and everybody loved seeing their old favorite Pokemon get new forms, and it was just super, super cool. And obviously it kind of balanced out because these mega forms could carry items, even though they got stat boost. It still made it a fair playing field. Gen 8, what I did not like to see was the Dynamax and the Gigantamax. I did like the form change, but what I didn't like is just kind of how overpowered and how they can really just turn the tides unfairly in the middle of the battle. So I'm not huge on the Dynamax and the Gigamax competitively. Now, how they look, again, I think they've done some really, really wonderful jobs creating certain Pokemon with the Gigamax or the Gigantamax forms. So I'm excited to see what the expansions have for us. If there's new Galar forms, if there's new Pokemon in general, that's exciting. I did really, really like the Galar forms this season, or not season, but this generation, and I hope they continue to do that throughout the future of Pokemon, is have special regional forms. Alolan forms were amazing, and again, like I said, Galarian forms are really cool. So overall, Gen 8 it's been pretty decent. From a competitive standpoint, we've had to really kind of take a step back and see what would make it fair, with how overpowering Gigantamax mons are. So that's been a difficult part of Gen 8. But I think APA if your audience starts to watch APA videos, or they already do, you'll see kind of how we've taken a different approach to Gigantamax when the APA season starts. The Wi-Fi APA season starts here in the next week or two.
So for the sake of conversation, and something that I'm sure that most people are going to want to know a little bit more information about as soon as this season starts. So like how we mentioned before in the beginning of our conversation, that I am going to be participating in the AP Academy, which is the D League to the AP main league. And then Miticus here is also going to be competing, but in the main league. Both of them are going to be mirroring the same rules. Both of them are be mirroring basically everything about the league, just two different pools of coaches, essentially. Now, there is one rule that I will go ahead and spoil for the sake of conversation, is that the way that we're able to, like how Miticus mentioned, kind of control the overall aspect of the overpoweredness of Gigantamax is that they are going to be required to hold a Pokeball. Now, could you bring us a little bit more information on why you guys came to that, or what the idea was behind that? So for when the league comes out, people are under more understanding about what's going on.
Didn't want to have Gigantamaxes or Dynamaxes. There were another part of the crowd, or part of the league who wanted to have like Gigantamax captains, very similar to how the WBE is currently doing their season.
Mm-hmm.
And then some of us just we just wanted to just play the game just how Gen 8 was meant to be played. Yeah. So there was 3 different kind of landscapes that we had to navigate around to be able to figure out how this is going to be enjoyable for not only the coaches, but also the viewers who are going to be watching these videos week in and week out.
100%.
And what we decided to do, I'm sorry, what was that?
No, I'm saying 100%. I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. And so what we decided to do is try to make a Gigantamax Pokemon a Mega Pokemon. Mm-hmm. And the way we did this was we forced them to hold a non-competitive item. For instance, a Pokeball. These Gigantamax Pokemon not to be able to have choice bands, choice specs, choice scarves, and these other competitive items that they currently are. This also does is allow the moves such as knockoff to still fully affect these mons. So it really takes down these super powerful Pokemon. It takes them down just a notch, just to make them a little bit more fair in the draft league format.
I think it's a great idea. I was on board as soon as you guys talked about it, so that's kudos to you guys. You guys put a lot of thought into the season. Do you guys have any details?
There's a lot of debate, man. There's a lot of debate.
Yeah, it was
several days.
It was about a week, right, since you guys were talking about it?
Yeah.
There's a lot of opinions. Everyone obviously is going to have their opinion. Some people can obviously debate that strategy comes into play with Draft League, as in you have full access to your opponent's team a week in advance, thus giving you extra time to game plan for any kind of Gigantamax or any kind of threat that's going to come about. But at the end of the day, it's still something that's super overpowered, and being able to level the playing field just a little bit is still going to make it a little bit more enjoyable, not only for coaches, but for you guys to watch as well. Do you guys, Miticus, have any information for the viewers for when we plan to start?
So I'm not really sure when you'll be posting this, but we are doing our draft stream. Well, it's not going to be really a draft stream, but it's going to be a live draft recap hosted by PokeMD and Lord Envy on Saturday, February 29th. So if this goes up after that, that's already happened. But
this is tonight. This will be up by tomorrow, so they'll see it at the second time you're talking about. So this will be up tomorrow.
Perfect. So yeah, so February 29th will be the live draft recap that Pokemon and Lord Envy will go over. They're going to go over all 20 teams. That's how many coaches we have this season in APA Season 6 for the Wi-Fi variation. And then as far as week 1, that will be uploaded on March the 8th. Week 1 of the APA, March the 8th. So definitely mark your calendars for that.
Yeah, guys, if you guys are interested in following any draft league this season, the APA should be on top of your list. There's going to be a lot of heated competition, to say the least. If you guys haven't already, or if you're not already following the APA Twitter, I'll leave the link down in the description below. We've been posting the announcements to what coaches are going to be participating this season, and that's where you're going to get all information of the season moving forward. So I definitely suggest you go down there and follow them for sure. So for my
support your Boston Bedros.
Yeah, there you go. There it is.
Gotta have that plug somewhere, right?
For sure, 100%. So my last question that I want for you is to bring back the Pokemon side of it and to talk about Miticus as a person. What is it that you like to do outside of the platform and content creation? What's on top of your priority list whenever you're not on screen?
Honestly, man, I just really enjoy hanging out with friends. I'm a single guy right now, so taking advantage of all the free time and being able to hang out with my buddies, and we go out and play basketball quite a bit. Me and Panther, we have a group of friends that we play basketball when it's warm outside pretty regularly. So that's a pretty big passion of ours. If I'm not doing that, I'm just hanging out, playing some like PlayStation 4 with some friends, or I'm a big Netflix addict, so I'm probably binge watching the latest Netflix show. Just the simple stuff, man. I'm a simple guy. Got some of the best friends in the world, so I hang out with them as I can. And yeah, man, just a simple life over here.
You guys have heard it here first on the Grandmaster's table. Miticus himself is an eligible bachelor. If you guys are looking for a good-looking guy with an amazing sense of humor and a very high work ethic, you found the right guy. He's here. Hit him up. I'll leave a link for his YouTube channel down in the description below. Please make sure you guys check him out. In all seriousness, this guy creates some amazing content. He's one of the best draft league battlers on the platform. Very highly respected. I'm very happy that you joined me here on the Grandmaster's table, man. I really appreciate you.
Thanks so much. I appreciate that, man.
So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Do you have any last final thoughts that you want to get out there? Any plugs that you have? The floor is yours.
I appreciate you having me on. I appreciate all the questions and getting to know me a little bit better. I hope you were able to get a little inside look on everything.
For sure. Is there anything that you want to plug? The floor is yours. Anything that you would like to shout out at the moment?
Guys, make sure you come check out the live stream Saturday. It's going to be on Pookie Aim's Twitch channel, and that's going to be super exciting. It's going to be pretty quick, maybe an hour and a half, so don't wait. Get there right when it starts. There's going to be some coaches jumping in and out, so you might get to learn a little bit about a coach in the APA. Besides that, I mean, you can always check out my channel. Just search Miticus on YouTube. It'll pop right up for you. I'm the coach of the Boston Bedros, and come support me this season. I would love that.
And I'll make it easy for you guys. Like I said before, I'll leave a link to his YouTube channel down in the description below. I'll also link all of his social media so you guys can get a hold of him, whether it's for Pokemon or for the Tinder side. I'm telling you, ladies, make sure you hit him up. All right, guys. So with that being said, thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Grandmaster's Table. This has been an amazing conversation with my friend Miticus here. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Don't forget, please make sure you smash that thumbs up button and subscribe if you're new. And with all that out the way, we're gonna get the heck up out of here. Have a great rest of your night, and above all else, be nice. Peace.
Peace.